I did intermittent fasting every day for 100 days, and this is what I found. 1, my body fully adjusted. 2, it actually gave me more time. 3, I built a different relationship with food. 4, it actually made food taste better. And 5, it fully fast-tracked my cutting phase. So let's get into this a bit more. With intermittent fasting, it does take a bit of time to get your head around, get your body around. There is that little bit of a teasing period at the start where you're a little bit hungry, and you know it's a bit draining emotionally. But once you get over that fact and you start to understand the purposes and the benefit of that, and once you push through that initial teasing period, your body actually really does adjust to that. Now when I wake up in the mornings, I'm not hungry at all. Like the idea of putting food, any kind of food, into my body at 8 a.m, 10 a.m, 11 a.m, it really kind of puts me off. It's like if you feel like, you know, when you get out of bed in the morning, imagine the idea of putting some chocolate in your mouth. Even though you might love chocolate later in the day, like I do, you know, putting that into your body first thing in the morning, it actually kind of grosses you out a bit. And that's the exact same way I feel right now with food in general first thing in the morning. I've adapted my body to not need that in first thing in the morning. It's changed. It's gotten used to doing work first, going to the gym, getting some cardio in, doing some work, and then once I've kind of earned that, just like we would have had to have done thousands and thousands of years ago, if we weren't biologically adept at putting in the work first without any food in our stomachs, we wouldn't be here today, right? So 1, your body does adjust to it. You got to give it time, and you got to understand the real benefits behind it. 2 is that it gave me more time, because, you know, first thing in the morning, maybe you've got to get up, go straight to work, whatever it is, go to the gym. You got to do all these things first thing in the morning to get your day rolling. The last thing you need to be thinking about is food, preparing food, cooking, all that kind of thing. So up until about 12, 1 o'clock, sometimes 2 o'clock for me, food is not a thought on my mind. All I have to think about is just what tasks do I have to get done in the morning. So it frees me up quite a lot, and it makes me feel a lot light physically when I'm going about doing things, going to the gym. I don't have to have any kind of digestive period. You know, you're not supposed to go to the gym, you know, kind of 2 hours before you eat and you have some high carb meal, whatever it is. My body's just used to going. So those are the first kind of 2 big reasons. Next is that, you know, after a bit of time, you actually develop a bit of a different understanding and a different relationship with food. You start to see it differently. When you go through life growing up, you kind of just see food as this easy access item that you have it whenever you want. You can order through Uber Eats, you can get whatever you want all the time without any consequence, without any hassle or any work. So when you start to have a bit more of an animalistic mindset that you need to put in the work first to earn the food, not in a, you know, eating disorder kind of way, or, you know, a self-damaging kind of way. It's a normal thing that you need to put in a little bit of work to get a bit of a reward. So it's a really good way to go about it, that you actually need to earn this kind of reward, this food, is that you need to put in a bit of work first, and it's going to be really beneficial for you long term. If you always have easy access to food and you allow yourself to indulge in that, that's why we have a obese population, is because food is so easily accessible without even having to put in work. You know, back in the day, at least we had to kind of get up off our ass to go to the shopping center, to our local grocery, to get food, to get snacks, whatever it is. Now you can sit in your bed and order food. So, you know, it's becoming even easier and easier. So as things become easier, and they will continue to do so, you need to self-impose these restrictions and these harder ways of doing things in order to stay, you know, athletic, in order to stay healthy. So you need to really switch that mindset to see food as nutrition, not just as a, you know, I'm bored, I need a snack, or, you know, I'm with friends, I need to be eating. You need to see it as purely from a nutritional standpoint. What do I need to put in my body to perform well, to feel healthy, to feel good, to have energy? Of course, every now and then I go out for food with friends, and I have indulgences every now and then because I've earned that. And then when I do those activities, I don't feel 1% guilty. But I bet when you go out and do that, which is like every single day, every second day, whatever it is, doing it fairly frequently, I bet you do feel guilty after every single meal that you buy, after every single Uber Eats that you get. You feel slightly bad about it. But when I do it and I indulge in those things because I've earned it, I've put in the work prior to that, I've actually earned it. So it doesn't feel bad for me. I've worked in that allowance in my body, in my routine to indulge in those little comforts in life, but it's not the norm for me. I don't allow myself to have food so easily accessible. I need to do a little bit of work first to earn that. And some people might see that as unhealthy. I don't. I see it, I feel super energetic. I feel I'm healthier as ever. My body fat is at the best level it's ever been in my entire life. I've got the most muscle mass I've ever had, and I feel generally in the best state I've ever been in my entire life. And you can work it in socially as well. If I want to go and meet up with friends for, they want to go and get a brunch or whatever it is, I'll just go out and I'll just get a coffee, a black coffee, an ice long black, whatever it is. I can still go out and do all these things. I'm not missing out on anything still. I just don't go and get the eggs Benedict with avocado and have like 1,000 calories at 7:30 a.m. I skip on that and I delay that food for later when I've earned it, when I deserve it. So that's the first thing. And so once you've kind of adjusted and you've realized it's given you more time and you start to have that different mindset with your nutrition and that different relationship, when you do actually eat, food tastes that much better when you do eat. Imagine you haven't eaten for hours and hours and hours. I know you've probably never done any kind of real kind of fasting periods before, but once you have that first meal and when you indulge in those those bad foods kind of thing, they feel and they taste 10 times better than when you indulge in it every single day or every second day, whatever it is. So it actually makes the food that much better. So when I have cheat meals, it's actually so much nicer, so much more enjoyable, so much more earned. I feel good after having them. I might be having a shit burger or whatever it is. Some people might feel guilty after that, but when I have it, I know I've earned it. I know I've deserved it. I've worked it into my program. I've worked it into my eating. So this is the real key thing. And lastly, to finish off, these are some really key points. Once you kind of get this around your head and you understand the purposes behind it, it becomes easier very much at the initial beginning of once you're adjusting your body to it. Once you have these key factors in your head, it's easier to push through. When you have a reason for doing something, it makes going through the pain, going through the struggle that much more easier. So have these reasons with you so you can kind of push through that initial pain until you get used to it, until it becomes part of your lifestyle. And lastly, it absolutely fast-tracked my cutting phase. I was kind of chubby in the beginning. I was going to the gym 5, sometimes 6 days a week. I was going for runs pretty regularly. I was doing half marathon once or twice a year, and I still didn't look like I went to the gym. It was quite embarrassing. I had a pretty high body fat percentage. I was, you could label me skinny fat. I had a bit of muscle under me. I was pretty strong, but I was still embarrassed. I didn't look like I went to the gym. When I was telling people at work that, I didn't want to tell them that I was, going to the gym in the mornings, and I packed my meal because I eat high protein meals, because I didn't feel like I even had that backing, that physique to back up that lifestyle. Maybe you resonate with that. You tell your colleagues you packed food, you packed a salad, whatever it is, and you feel embarrassed to say it because you don't have the results to kind of show it. It's like when you start a business for the first time, you don't want to tell people you're putting in all this work and all these things that you're doing behind it because you don't have the results to show for it in the beginning. It's all just the initial stages of getting started. That's the hard part. And once you get over that and you put in the work, it's all going to be beneficial for you. So doing this intermittent fasting absolutely fast-tracked my cutting phase. It made it so much easier to shed the fat. I lost 5 to 6 kilos in just over a month, maybe 2 months, somewhere around that period. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I wasn't integrating this technique, this toolkit. It's just a tool at the end of the day. Some days aren't perfect as well. It's like sometimes I knew that I was going to be very busy around the middle to early afternoon. I knew I wouldn't have been able to get in a meal from say 12 to 3 or 4 if I knew I really couldn't eat during that time. Then I would have something right before, say at 11 or 10, get in a small meal, whatever it is. You got to work it in with your lifestyle. We're not robots at the end of the day, but as a general rule of thumb, 90% of the time you should be eating around, at least for the first 3-4 hours of your morning, you should be going to the gym, going for some exercise, getting some steps in, getting some work in, whatever it is, before you start stuffing your face with, cereal or whatever shit you want to put in your body. At least make it healthy, at least make it earned. So these are the 5 key things that I really found that that changed with me, and it was so beneficial over. I've been doing intermittent fasting for a very long time, on and off, but for the last 100 days, the last few months, I've really been locked in with it, staying super consistent with it, and it's really fast-tracked my results, not only mentally, but it's also been the real key driver behind me losing the fat, behind me losing the body fat, and it's absolutely changed the game for me. No matter what phase I'm in, whether that's a cutting phase or a lean bulk phase, there's always a good reason to be integrating intermittent fasting at some level, in some respect, into your routine. It's a good mentality to have, it's a good mindset, it makes you feel that much more better throughout the days as well. So give it a try. If you need any help with that, feel free to reach out to me, my Instagram, or book a call with me to discuss any questions you might have. But this is some of the key things that really helped me, absolutely changed the game for me in terms of my physique and my fitness and my mentality. So give it a try. I know it's going to work for you.